Hi, welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we are going to see how we can access items in our cart. We've already created a add to cart that whenever the add button is clicked, then an item is being added into the cart. So how do we access this? So the first thing we do is that we will go back to that our header, the navigation where we have this. As we click this, it's not doing anything and it's showing 2. So we need to do something that when they click on this, it will take us to a page where we'll be able to see what are the 2 items in the cart. So how do we go about that? We'll first of all come to this header here where we initiate the button that is storing the items. We will put a anchor tag around it. So I am going to create an href that will go to a page called cart.php and the page will be closed where the button ends. So we wrap it around the button so that when they click on it, it goes into the cart page. Let's see now. We come here and we refresh. If you click on it, it takes us to the cart page, but we don't have the page right now. So we need to come here and create the cart page. So let me make sure the page is created here, cart.php, and that's it. So here now, inside the cart page, the first thing we need to do is that we check. We start a session, grab whatever that is in our cart. So we come here, PHP, end the PHP, then we do a session start, session underscore start. Okay, session starts. When we start the session, then after that we will check, or even we may not need to check for now. What we just need to do is to have an HTML and a table where we will display our cart items. So what we are going to have will look similar to this product page. I will copy the HTML here and edit the content of that. So right here, after this, drop this here. Now we need this table. We just edit certain things there. Then we don't need this modal, or even if you are going to need it, it's not going to be, we don't need it. How should we be using it? For now, we don't need it. And if we need, we go on and bring it back. Or better still, let's start afresh. So here, I'm going to create HTML. And then right inside here, because I need that table, and I don't want to start creating table again. So let me bring, and I also need this styling. Anyway, no problem. Let's continue. We'll type everything out. Okay. So here, table, close. Okay. So let's bring in the reference to our bootstrap and every other thing right here, and then the header and all other things that we normally bring in. here. So I'm going to copy the reference to Bootstrap, the link, the script, then the body where we reference the header, copy all this, so that this time around we're not copy everything. So I'll add this one here now. Okay, that's it. So I think I have the container. Yeah, so I have to close the container. Okay, so the div of the container is closed right here. Then we have table. We have included the header. So the header is on this same place, not outside. So let's see what we have inside our cart now. By the time we click on this, we get the nav, and this one is still showing the other two. Alright, so that's our cart. Then we now need to do what? Create a table inside the cart. So the table, we have the following. Since we reference Bootstrap, table we have class, table, and we can say table sprite, table over. All these are Bootstrap styling. There's nothing that too serious that we've not done in this class. So here I need to copy the header part of the table, like this space, head to the head, the body as well. We copy this. All these ones we have copied are not too much. So we have the serial number, the product name, the price, the quantity, the image. Then we're going to have the total price, each image we have its own total price. Okay, I mean each product rather. Then actions, anyway. Now in the body of the table, this time around we are not iterating through things from database. We are getting it from an array. So what we are going to do is to check if, remember PHP, we say if not empty, function. What is not empty? Session card. If not empty, session card. That is, if we have anything inside our card, then we do what? We first of all set the total price to be equal to 0 initially. Then we want to create the serial number for each product. So I'll give that one variable number is going to be 1 initially. Then afterwards we look through our session cards. So for each each session cat as key equal to value. That is, we want to access an associative array. That is what we are doing right here, so that it has key and value. You know, item ID is equal to whatever the item ID is. Item array is equal to whatever mean. Item product name, like what we did here. This is what we are looking through, because this is what we store into items, and we now store the items into shopping cart. So now, session cart rather. So now we need to check all those items as an associative array. Then we will now say, when you get all this, remember what we did when we were doing products the other time. We created this right here, and then we stop our PHP for the purpose of HTML that we are bringing in. Then here we start the PHP back, so our HTML can be in between here. So the next thing we want to do is that we will create a table row that we have a TD inside it. Inside the TD, what we just need to do is to do what? Echo value item name value item name. Let me check that. We click on cart. You see, we get bread because it's showing under serial number. Don't worry, we'll do that. We'll fix that one now. So what I'm going to do is, the first TD actually supposed to be serial number, so it will be not you, to be the number. So if I should come here now, you can see 1 1. Yes, no problem. We'll fix that one too later. So at least we are getting red nick. That's what we have in our cart. So we do the same thing for all others now. So I'll come right here and paste that again. Okay, so what we are going to have now, this is item name, then item price, then for the quantity will be another thing entirely, but let's see first quantity, item quantity. Quantity, we'll look at that later. Then after the quantity, the next thing is the image. The item image will be, it will look like, let's just bring the item image. As well, we'll fix that one too later as we are fixing the quantity item image. So if we come right here now, we can see that we have all the products showing. Yes. So now we have few more things to look at. So we need to create a banner here, say shopping cart or blah blah blah. We can do that one. So what we do is this quantity, we want it to be editable so that they can increment and decrease. Then we want this to be showing the image, and then as you increase and decrease this, for that particular product, the total will be here. You know, if this is 2 now, 2 multiplied by 1.5 will give us 3,000. 3,000 should be showing right here. That's what we want to do now. So how do we go about that? We come here, we start with the quantity. For the quantity should be inside an input that will be of type number. So we say input let me put here column number. We generate that. See, okay, input type number, name. So I'll just give it quantity. ID, we don't need it, but we need value. Value will be what? Value will be equal the quantity, item quantity. So this is it now. Let's check to confirm that. See, it's now something you can change, but yet. So it shouldn't be giving us minus or 0. You can't decrease number, that should be 0. So we need to change something on our input by putting a minimum value there. You come here, input type number, another value displays. Say minimum is equal to 1. So it shouldn't go below 1. Let's check it. So now here, if I click on this, it's not going, but I can increase it and decrease. But once you get to 1, it's not going to be minus or 0. Okay, that's fine now. Now the image. Let's move on to the image. For the image, to show image, here, that one too, we have img tag source is equal to where source will be images slash then PHP echo the image. Then you may need to set the size for the image. So I'll put here width to be equal to, like we did last time, 20 pixel. That's what we want the image to show. The alternative could be the name of the image as well. You can make it the same thing. So the alt value will be the same thing. Okay, so now let us check that and see what we have right now. Yeah, very well. The image is showing. For total price, what we now need to do is that initially, when we are looping through each image, here the total for each image will be variable TP, total price, is equal to value item quantity multiplied by this. You see, item quantity multiplied by item price. Item quantity multiplied by item price. So here we need another TD for that. TD that will echo TP we echo TP okay, then we need another TD for the actions. Let me put here actions now. So if we come back now and check, we have it. The total price is 15 and action is actions. Alright, so now let us see what is now going to happen. How do you update the quantity and then the total price will change? And then this one is not showing like a currency. It doesn't have the 0.0, the kobo. We are going to look at all that as well. So the first thing we do is let's fix that quickly. There is what is called number format in PHP, number underscore formats. So that's what we do here, number underscore formats, put question mark C. It takes the number we want to convert and then the number of decimals that we want it to have. The default is 0, meaning that if we did not put anything here, it will be 0. So we'll say comma 2 and then we wrap that. So by the time we come here now, we are saying it should be having 2 decimal places and that is all. That's it. Okay, very well. Now let us proceed. Then the actions. We are going to have a button for updating the items in our cart. And for us to go about this, that means we are going to have a button that will reload the entire page and get the new value for each of these items. So, which means we are going to wrap everything around a form again. We're going to wrap everything around a form. So that whenever we do that, it will update the entire row at a time. So let me come here after this tr, before the tr. Here we're going to have a form. The form is going to be a form post one. So I will cut this, the closing, and edit at the end of the tr. Okay, now what do we want to do? Remember that we have input here. This is an input. I can change the number, so it's the reason why we are having a form here, so that when you change the value of that quantity, then you click on a button under these actions, button type submit. So we're going to have a button type submit, and then the name will be equal to update. Name will be equal to update, and it's going to have a class of btn, this one btn warning, so that it should be a kind of warning to you, then update. So now when you click on that, it's going to reload the page. But while doing that, this is about updating our items. So I will come right here and check if it is set update on this session. I'll come right here and say if is set variable posts, then we are posting that post update. At least if you click on the update button, then we need to check if it's also set shopping cart, because though we know that it is not possible without having anything in the cart that will be on this page, but yet let us confirm. Let us confirm. So I think there is if is set. Do we need this again? No, we don't. Okay. So this is another is set. If it's set, session cart, if you have something in the cart after you want to update, then what will this do? This will look through your whatever you have in the cart for each key and value in your cart. For each key and value in your cart, then what should it do? If the value what? What are we looking at here? We are looking at the item ID. Value item ID, the ID of what you click on. When as we are looping through, if the ID is the same thing as what as whatever you post through your form, it's the same thing as the ID you post over there. That means you should find a way to post the ID. Then you do what? Our session cart the key of that particular item and the quantity. This is what I was telling us the other time, that you want to update the quantity. This is how we should have done it. Item quantity, that particular item's quantity will now be equal to whatever new value is in your post quantity now. Let's look at it once again while I explain it. At first, what you do is that you, on the button, when you click on update, before that our quantity is an input where you can enter quantity. So we have the name to be what? Quantity. So it will get the value of whatever the quantity is any point in time and post it as a post, which means we get post quantity. But how do we know the ID of what we are dealing with? To know that if the post is the ID of that particular item, that means inside our form right here, immediately after the TR, let's see the form. The form starts under the TR, okay, here. Immediately after this place, we're going to have another hidden input. Input that will be hidden, okay, name with the ID, and value of that will be equal to PHP echo ID of this particular product, item ID. That's it. So we are here also sending along the ID of that product. So those two are what we are going to grab: the ID that we send through the hidden, and then the quantity, the new quantity you are sending now. So now if we go back there, what are we now doing? We are checking if it says post update. If you click on update button, then you click on update button, then we check if the session cart is set, and then if it is set, we look through whatever that is inside the cart as key and value. Then we take the item, the value ID of this cart we are looking through. If it is, whenever it is equal to that particular ID that we are posting, then go ahead and do what? Change the quantity of that item. Change the quantity of that item. And even we want to do that at the point of adding to cart right here. We should have done the same thing. Here we are saying item already added to cart. We check, look through the whatever that is in our cart. We check, you already check somewhere here that if the shopping cart is set, then we look through it. When it is equal to that particular one, then we increment the quantity. But we are doing it at the point of your cart. So this one here could have been done over there like that. Okay, so we update the cart, and after doing this, when we update the cart, we use the for each. After that, then here we do what? We echo cart updated successfully. Let me see where we are echo. We have echoed the script. Okay, here. So we say echo product updated successfully, or you can just say product quantity updated successfully. So now let's see if that will work. I should check this. You can see I get the update now. If I increase this to be 2 and click on this, I get product quantity updated successfully. So nothing is happening in this case. That means we still have one more thing to do right here. Let me check. Okay, so let's look at it one more time. If this is clicked, then if there is something in our cart, then we look through all those things as key and value. Then we check if the value item ID is equal to post ID that we send. We might need to check if we do this well. Name ID and then echo what? Value item ID. Yes. So do we store the ID? Yes, item ID is equal to this ID. Okay, so now if it is equal to this post ID, session cart key item quantity is equal to post quantity alert product quantity updated. Let me now do something here. Updated to then do something here and bring this to know the quantity if it has actually changed or not. Okay, so now if I should come here, update this and click on update, it is updated to 1, which means we are not getting this quantity right now. Whatever the value of this is, we are not getting it right now. So how do we fix that? Alright, I think I get what is going on. Here, we are not supposed to have double quotes. Here it's supposed to be 1. So now let us check what we have. We click on this and increment this to be 3, say, update, and then we get it 4,500. So that is how we update our cart. Now the next thing is we now need to get the total of everything after this we update. Even immediately we show our cart, we're supposed to see the total to check out with. So that's the next thing we want to implement. So now how do we go about this? We have been able to update our cart after removing this 1 equal to there. Okay, so now we want to get the total at the end of everything. So therefore, initially we've created a total up there to be 0. So the next thing we're going to do now is to go on there after our table. This is not going to be inside the table, it will be after our table. I mean, it will be inside the table, but it will be outside the our cart items that we are showing right there. It is going to form another row on its own. That is what I am actually saying, that everything here is a row and we put the form after that row. So after this we will need a total. So right now in this case, what I am going to do is that as we are looping through each product like this, we will increment our total. We started another PHP here, but this is our for loop where we are looping through each item in our cart. Here it ends here. So at this point, if total initially is 0, at this point we need to add to our total right here. So I am going to say variable total is equal to whatever the total is before. Let's say for instance the total is 2000, the overall total 2000. So we get that total and add what? A new total that is coming from this our new product. Let's say for instance you have the first product which its price is 4005 for instance. That will be the value of this total at this point. Total is equal to what? TP. That is, it will add 45 into that. By the time it's bringing up the second product, it will be 45 plus the new total of that second product, which will be what? Which will be 15. So it will add it to the total. 45 plus 15 now will form our last total. Now another thing that we need to do is, if this one serial number is showing 11, here we also need to increment that as well. As we increment our total, we come here and see number was equal to 1. Okay, so that will increment our number. So if we want to check it, we can check that now. Our number is incrementing now. So then the overall total too has incremented. So we now need to echo the overall. So we have our this tr stopped here. So what I am going to do is, I don't want to stop PHP again and start bringing up HTML. So I can just echo everything right here now. So what I'm going to do is, I will have echo CR, and then let me echo the closing of the TR. This one is also not correct. Open up the TR. And the closing right here. So here I'm going to echo TD open and close of the TD, and then we are going to have it to be total. Then select that, have another one that will now display the actual total, and that one we have what? Since you're already inside PHP, what I will just do is I'll just do this and say dot variable total. Let's see what we have now. If we come here and refresh our page, we have error outline 74. Let me see. 74, we did not terminate all these echoes. This echo is not terminated. This echo is not terminated. This echo is not terminated. Let's now see what we have after that. Okay, so you can see now that we have our total to be 6,000, but I want to move this down to this 6,000 should be under this. Now this total could not be anywhere around here. So what I'm now going to do is I will count the number of row total here. In fact, I'm getting 2 totals. That means we are inside for loop. This is not supposed to be inside this, it's supposed to be outside. So I will cut it outside it. Yeah, this is our loop ends here. So where we display our total should be outside the loop. So let me check and confirm now. That's it. Okay, so this should come down to this place, 6,000. So how many columns is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5. So I will have to let it to shift move by 5, and that is by using column span. I'm going to use column span. So I will come right here now inside this TD, the one for total, say column span, is equal to, I'm going to use single quote because it's already inside double quotes. Column span will be 5. Let's see. And that's it. We get our total down to number 6. All right. So now, I think I did it inside. Yes, I did it here. That is, this one should leave 5 tabs for me, and then it moves the price to that number 6. All right. So that is for the number, but the total too, we need to format it as we did for this one. Copy this, come here, wrap it around that so that we can get our overall total to in Naira format. Oh, I did not specify the decimal too. So we get that as well as that. Okay, so that is that on our shopping cart and how to update it. In the next session, I am now going to implement a situation whereby you can empty your cart, you can then proceed to check out. Thank you.